What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So in the coming days, we're going to see one of the biggest challenges for Democrats when it comes to special elections. And I say this is a challenge because before we've seen some other special elections where Democrats have had the advantage and they did win, or we saw Democrats win and outperform what Harris did in 2024. But in Tennessee, this race, Republicans are favored to win, but the race just got a lot tighter. I'm going to show you this polling, the latest polling. And could Democrats possibly win this seat in Tennessee? It's unexpected, but could they possibly win? So that's what I want to focus on in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video. And if you're watching this video and you want to see more content like this, please consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, so the first thing I like to do, and I still have some of these unfilled, these special elections. So we know a Democrat won in Arizona. That was Grijalva. And then we know that this seat here in Texas is most likely going to go to a Democrat. So right now, the special election that everybody has their eyes on is Tennessee. Okay, in Tennessee, you have the 7th district. And so in this race, you have Epps, who's a Republican, versus Behn. So now let me show you this Emerson poll, this latest poll. Okay, so here's the latest poll coming from Emerson. Now, anytime you look at a poll, you want to look at the information below, because you need to know what the sample size looked like. Was it likely voters, registered voters, adults? Who, when did this take place? All of that information is very, very important. So let's look at this. At the bottom here, and it's Tennessee, 7th district, likely voters. Now, this is really, really important because instead of just using registered voters, they're using likely voters. So these are people who vote on, a consistent basis. If it's just a registered voter, guess what? There are a lot of people who are registered to vote and they never vote. And so realistically, if they say, well, yeah, I like this candidate over this candidate, does it really matter? Because they're not out there voting. Okay. Now, some registered voters do vote on a more consistent basis. But when you're talking about likely voters, generally what they'll do is they'll ask, okay, when was the last election you voted in? If they say I voted in 2024, I voted in 2022, well, then that's when they start looking at those individuals as likely voters. Okay, so it's important that they're using likely voters. And then it also says here already voted, which I didn't see before. So you have likely voters and people who have already voted. So those people who have already voted, they could say, yes, you know what, I've already voted. And so even if you have a likely voter, someone that votes on a consistent basis, well, guess what? Life happens sometimes. It could be on election day, so you might not be able to get out and vote. And so you miss that. You might say that you want to vote for a certain individual, but you have an emergency on that day and you can't get out to the ballot box and vote. But if you've already voted, that's even better. That's even a more solid answer there, a response to polling. Okay, and so it looks like the sample size is 600. The margin of error is 3.9%. And then this was conducted between November 22nd and November 24th. Okay, so we have all that information out of the way. Let's take a look at this poll here. So we have Republican, Epps, at 48%. And you have the Democrat, Behn, at 46%. So that's a 2-point margin there. Just 2 points. So +2 for Epps. And then we look at other, you have that 2% there. And then undecided. So this is interesting. Undecided right now is at 5%. And so what does that tell us? That tells us that these undecideds, not all of them are going to go out and vote, but we could see some of these undecideds go out and vote. Who are they going to vote for? Are they going to vote for Epps or are they going to vote for Behn? And so these undecideds can really flip this whole poll and flip this election if this poll is accurate. And I know you might be saying, well, this is a Republican district, so it's going to favor Epps regardless. So these undecideds, they're probably going to vote for Epps. They're going to vote for the Republican. Well, not so fast. Let's take a look at another poll. And remember, we're coming from a district where Trump won in 2024 by 22 points. And so if we have a district where Trump won by 22 points, right now showing, the Emerson poll showing that there's only a 2-point spread, 2-point difference between both candidates, that would be a huge victory for Democrats if they're able to hold at least close or win. Now, let me show you this polling information because, as I stated, this is a Republican district. It went for Trump. And now, if you ask the question, this is Emerson again, do you approve or disapprove of the job Donald Trump is doing as president? This is interesting. Look at this. So you have approval at 47%, disapproval at 49%, neutral 4%. And so right now in this district, you have more people that disapprove of how the president is handling his job than approve of how the president's handling his job. And remember, they voted for Trump by 22 points. And so could this be the reason why we're seeing the shift from the 22 points that President Trump got in 2024 down now to only a 2-point spread? And so I'm going to be interested to see how this situation turns out. And realistically, you have about 3 scenarios. So one scenario, Epps wins. Okay, he wins by, let's say, 17 points or higher. Okay, it's about where President Trump was in 2024. So there's no real difference there. There's no real change. Even though we saw this Emerson poll come out, we could say that it was an outlier and it didn't really mean anything. That's one scenario. The next scenario is the Democrat actually wins. Behn actually wins, and that's an upset. And that would mean that looking forward to the 2026 midterms, we could have received a big sign that Democrats, it's going to be a blue wave in 2026. So that we could see that scenario. Or we can see a scenario where it's a little both. So the Republican wins, but the Republican only wins. So Epps wins by, let's say, 6-7 points. It's in the single digits. That would show that Democrats have gained ground in Tennessee, and they could be gaining ground all over the U.S. as a result of this special election. That could be the information that we get from that. Because, as I stated, President Trump in 2024 won by 22 points. If we're looking at a special election, which turnout is going to be lower, but if we're looking at a special election, is the Democrat able to go head-to-head with the Republican in this highly Republican district and keep that lead for Republicans into the single digits? And so those are the 3 scenarios that we're looking at right now. And honestly, I mean, I don't even know how to call this because this was unexpected. We were anticipating that Epps would be able to win without any problem. But now we're seeing Republican leadership investing more money in this district because they know how crucial this is and what this signals. Because Republicans know if they don't do well in this special election, this could mean a disaster for them in 2026 in the midterms. And so we're going to have to follow this to see where it goes. I want to know what you guys think. Do you think the Democrat here, Behn, has a chance to win? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye. So that's all we have for this video. Make sure if you guys want to send me an email, you can do that, david@thetecshow.com. Like the video, subscribe for more, and check out these videos over here for some more great content. Talk to you later. Bye.